From the smallest of ships like the destroyers to the largest battleships and history-altering aircraft carriers, every navy in the world consists of different ship types, if not the same. Each ship type came with their benefits, weaknesses, and many famous names. Today on Warships 101, we will dive into each ship type. Welcome back, I'm Yuki. For those of you who are new to this channel, welcome. This channel is dedicated to the discussion of naval warfare history with more focus on World War I and World War II. During the two wars, much of the common ship types were as follows: destroyers, with designation of DDs, cruisers, which included both light or CLs and heavy or CA cruisers, battleships or BB. This included as well battle cruisers and the rare aviation battleships. These are my personal favorites, if you didn't notice by the hat that I was wearing in the previous video. Aircraft carriers or CVs, these include light aircraft carriers or CVLs, and submarines or SS. Has a much longer history, which will be left for a later video, but we'll discuss in a little bit later in this video. Destroyers were fast naval vessels that served a variety of functions since the late 19th century. The term destroyer was first used for the 250-ton vessels that were meant to protect battleships from torpedo boats. By World War I, they were commonly deployed ahead of battle to scout for enemy vessels, beat back enemy destroyers with their guns, and launch torpedoes against battleships and cruisers. When submarines came into the picture, destroyers were equipped with hydrophones and depth charges. By World War II, radar and anti-air guns expanded their role to air defense. Famous destroyers that we know in World War II were the Fletcher-class destroyers of the United States Navy. Cruisers were large warships built for high speed and a great cruising radius, capable of not only defending its own fleet and coastlines but also threatening the enemy. Before World War I, armored cruisers were eclipsed by cruisers as large as battleships, displacing 20,000 tons or more and carrying dreadnought-style armament of big guns. These battle cruisers achieved greater speed, about 25 to 30 knots, by limiting the thickness of its armor. The Washington Naval Treaty of 1922 limited cruisers to 10,000 tons, but many states violated the treaty and it was abandoned before World War II. By then, many cruisers had been deprived of their scouting functions by aircraft, and submarines had usurped their role as convoy raiders. During the war, they served mostly as floating batteries for amphibious assaults and as part of air defense, protecting aircraft carrier task forces. Famous cruisers will be including the USS San Diego, Otago and Takao, Belfast for the Royal Navy, Prince Eugen. Battleships were capital ships since 1860, when it began to supplant the wooden hull sail-driven ship of the line to World War II, until its prominent position was taken over by the aircraft carrier. Battleships combined large-sized powerful guns, heavy armor, and underwater protection with high speed, great cruising radius, and general seaworthiness. The Washington Naval Treaty of 1922 limited new battleships to 35,000 tons. Shortly before World War II, the treaty was abandoned and replacement rose once more, with Germany building two Bismarck-class battleships at 52,600 tons, the US-4 Iowa-class battleships at 45,000 tons, and Japan's two Yamato-class battleships at 72,000 tons. In World War II, the extended striking range and power of naval aircraft effectively ended the dominance of the battleships. Battleships served mainly to bombard coastal defenses in preparation for amphibious assaults and as part of AA defense and aircraft carrier task forces. Famous battleships will be including, of course, Battleship Bismarck of the Kriegsmarine, the USS Iowa, shameless plug, and Japan's Yamato, of course, as the largest battleship in the world. Aircraft carriers are naval vessels which airplanes may take off and land on. Carriers were first used in combat during early stages of World War II. The Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor by carrier-based planes on December 7th, 1941 by the Kido Butai of Japan dramatically demonstrated the potential of an aircraft carrier, which thereafter was the dominant combat vessel of the war, which also was proven during the Battle of Midway. Famous carriers, of course, include the USS Enterprise, with 20 battle stars, becoming the most decorated ship of the war. Of course, Kido Butai, which included the Akagi, Kaga, Soryu, Hiryu, Suikaku, and Shokaku at the time of the Pearl Harbor attack. And Graf Zeppelin. For the Royal Navy, we have Ark Royal, which was a key participator when sinking the great battleship Bismarck, and the Illustrious. Submarines are any vessel that can propel itself beneath the water as well as on the surface. However, since their history is so extensive, I will save that for a separate video. In fact, if you would like for me to expand on all these ship types mentioned today, drop a like in the comment below. More to come here on Warships 101. Fair winds and following seas, sailors.